Hey guys, welcome to this new shmup video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a game called Battle Bakraid, released by Rising or Aiding in 1999 as a spiritual successor to Battle Garegga. Now, I haven't spent much time with Battle Garegga, so I can't tell you how it compares, but I just gave it a quick try on the Mister today, and it seems to be a fine game to me. It has fun mechanics, great level design, I enjoy the patterns. It does look a little, military slash generic, so I can see how people may not like it as much as Garegga, but to me it's great because it's approachable for survival. Rank doesn't get too bad, especially in the mode I'm playing, unless to score, which I don't, so I had a great time with it. In terms of mode, it has 4 different modes. It has a training mode, sort of on wheels, with an auto bomb to go through 4 stages with reduced enemies and reduced bullet density, and I'm not a huge fan of that mode actually, because the auto bomb gets activated whenever a bullet grazes your sprite, so not even your hitbox. So really you do sort of lose your bombs in places where you would not have lost an extend, which I think is a bit much. So I'm actually playing the normal mode, which is the next mode up. It has 6 stages. Again, bullet density is not too bad, as you can see. I would call it easy and approachable even for beginners, which is cool because usually those types of games, like the Rising games, seem pretty hard to me. So there's also an advanced mode, which is the hard, or at least a sort of, hardcore mode with 8 stages and more bullets. And then there's this special mode, which is pretty much a boss rush mode, which I haven't tried yet, but it sounds really cool because this game has a lot of bosses. You get many different ships, so you're pretty much guaranteed to find one you like. I know I did, the one I'm using, I can't remember its name. It's something old, and it's pretty fast. It has great coverage on the sides. In terms of options, so you have a primary shot and you have a secondary side shot, which I'm not even using in this run because I didn't need to, given that I have those great diagonal coverage with this ship. But yeah, you also have a little aura thing that you can fire, in front of your ship, like in Batrider. And then you have a charged shot, which I'm actually not using much, but it's pretty good. It covers almost the entire screen. It's just the game's pace is pretty relentless. You don't get many opportunities to charge it. But there's a lot to experiment with a lot of different ships. I think there's some around 12. And so now we're already on to this stage 2 boss, which has 2 phases. Most bosses have several phases, which I think is pretty cool. And I think this is just about where I take a stupid death. Yeah, right away, already in stage 2, where I remember being there thinking, well, should I bomb or not? And then I was thinking, well, this is stage 2, so I don't want to bomb so early. So I just stood there and didn't do anything and ate a bullet to the face. But yeah, see, I did clear the game, even though I had a couple of deaths early on. So this goes to show you how approachable the game is. One thing I did like about this game is the difficulty is, so, there's rank, but it isn't as crazy as in some other shmups where you have to know all the details just to make sure you can survive. In this game, you can play for survival just fine. It doesn't get too crazy difficult or hectic, even though I'm picking up most of the power-ups, which in some games that would just make rank shot up dramatically and make it almost impossible to clear, but in this case it's fine, which I think is cool. You know, there are several ways to play this game. You can just play for survival, you can play for score, and I suspect it would play completely dramatically different. You'd have to suicide and use bombs and whatever, but I don't know the details of scoring, and I probably wouldn't get into that yet anyway. You know, I just enjoy playing for survival at this point, and I'm not good enough to really think too much about scoring. One thing I also like about this game is just overall visibility and bullet visibility. So they switched to, you know, this sort of neon colored bullets, so they're pink in this case, which is very reminiscent of cave games, and I think they really figured out something there. Yeah, I mean, to some people, I think this might be, they might not find it as artistic as some other games, but to me, this really helps me see where all the bullets are. I can keep track of them easily, and that makes it much more enjoyable for me to play. And to me, it takes precedence, if that's a word. It's more important than you know, graphics or visual appeal. I think gameplay elements like visibility should be, you know, first and foremost. It's one of the most, if not the most important thing in a shmup. So we're already towards the end of stage 4. This is the stage 4 boss. Again, 2 phases, as you can see, and I take another death right here. So, you know, it looks like there's a thing with those second phases in those 2 bosses where I should be a bit more, should stay on my toes to make sure I don't lose any more extends. So at this point I don't have any more lives, so I have to be careful. I have 1 full bomb, maybe another one, because in this game, so the red pickup items, the red medals, they're bomb fragments. So the more you pick up, the more bombs you get. And at this point I have 1 full bomb, and then you can use the remaining fragments that you have. So here I have 2 now. But even if you don't have a full bomb, you can still use them, which is pretty neat. You just don't get as much invisibility, I think. So this stage is railroad stage, is very military looking and kind of drab, but I actually kind of like this aesthetic. It reminds me of something like Strikers, maybe a bit more grounded, but I think it looks really cool. Also, the graphical type is a little strange. Like, it has those sort of pixelated look or graphics, but I actually really dig it. Like, it's very unique as far as shmups are concerned. So this boss, you have to be really careful because it shoots those like huge missiles. I'm not sure they're even called missiles, but you have to dodge the patterns and the missiles at the same time. Thankfully, the bosses are not too long. The stages are not too long either. This is also why I think this game is really enjoyable. Runs are pretty short. There's almost no downtime. There's actually a funny story. So you can see at the end of the stage, there is no score. How do you call that? Like score page. No, you know, the stages don't get cut up. So you just kill the boss, and then the game moves you instantly into the next stage, which I think is really cool and intense. But I know the first time I played this game, yeah, I had to use a bomb there just to be sure. The first time I played this game, I actually put the stick down after beating the first stage to check my phone, and I died right away because it started again, you know. But I think it's a really neat idea. I think, you know, in shmups, I think we don't always realize how much downtime there is between stages, or, you know, just in short sections before bosses or transitions. That's the word I was looking for earlier. You know, transitions, I think, is a lot of pretty much dead air. So in this game, I think there's none or almost none. This boss is pretty cool. Bahamut, I think the names are also really cool sounding. So you can see the patterns are not difficult. The gaps are pretty big, and you get a lot of bombs. So here I am moving into stage 6, which is the final stage of the game. And I got an extend, I think at around 2 million points you get one. So you have to still have to pick them up from the small shape formations. I think there's also a, how do you call that? A chaining system in this game, but it somehow seems to relate to the large enemies. So it sounds completely different from something like Dodonpachi. But yeah, there's probably tons of depth to explore that I'm not aware of. I'm just playing it for fun because it feels good and it sounds good. At this point, stage 6 is pretty much a boss rush. So this is the first mid-boss, which doesn't look too bad. See, it's all about positioning and looking for escape routes, but the game is very gentle. It doesn't really try to trap you or force you into making mistakes, which I think is nice. It's a nice change. This boss, this mid boss, you have to be really careful against. See, I'm actually using a bomb, but I'll end up losing a life because I sent the bomb too high on the screen. So the more you hold the bomb button, the higher your bomb goes up on screen. So you can choose where it goes, and here I made the mistake of holding the button where I probably shouldn't have. So again, I'm there with no extends and one bomb, fighting those meat bosses where I have to be a bit careful. This one is a little more tricky. It's not too bad, but you have to watch out for the turret that spawns at the bottom of the ship, because that one doesn't give you much time to react to the bullets. But I did manage to make it out just fine. Another mid-boss, I think this is the 4th one. It's not too bad either, because you can actually macro a lot of those bullets, so you just have to, you know, move around the screen and make sure you don't get trapped in the corner, but overall, nothing too bad. And so now we're moving back to normal enemies. Those have this weird red bomb shot that you have to watch out for, but otherwise not too bad. And I think these are the 2 final enemies before the last boss of the game, Gigamenta. Right, here it is. So it looks pretty cool. Again, I think it has 2 phases. At this point, I did get an extend from the 4 million points, so I'm not in a bad spot. I have a couple of bombs as well, and I'm thinking, you know, even though I haven't really played this game before, I think I tried a couple of runs, and I'm here thinking, well, I might actually clear this. So this goes to show you how easy this normal mode is, which I think is cool, you know, because anyone can pick up and pick it up and play it. Still fun for normal people. Yeah, I wasn't sure there, so I used a bomb. And this is the final form of the boss, and I still have a life to spare. So cleared that pretty handily. You know, even with a bit more work, I could probably do a no miss of this game. I don't know if I will. I'd probably move on to the advanced course, which is a bit more interesting and a bit more challenging. But overall, I really like this game. It's pretty cool. I can't tell you how close it is to the arcade board because I've never played the arcade version. But I hope this gave you a small taste of the game. If you're curious and want to try it, it's actually a little difficult to get a hold of. So, you know, you have to use something like MAME or Mr. FPGA or buy the arcade board. But I think most people don't do that. But it's worth it. I haven't played all the racing game. I think I'll try them a bit more over the next few weeks. I'll let you know my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.